Hello, welcome to another weekly Animal Live Totem readings with myself, Roy B, Man of Merlin. Hope you've all had a fantastic week since the last weekly readings last Tuesday, and the animals guided you all wonderfully and accurately, and gave you a nice week with insights and forecasts and everything else that comes with living day-to-day life through spiritual guidance from different realms. So straight away this week, the hashtag is stag. So I'll just get that up for you, because the stag inadvertently, so hashtag stags for individual reading at the end of the weekly readings, by the way, for those that are new joining me. And yeah, stag just sort of inadvertently became part of my brand, really. Hello, beloved. The little logo up in, let's see if I can get this pointed out. Oh, this comedy in itself. This little logo here. I just came across it looking for a new logo, and there's this silhouette of a wizard on a stag, and it just started to become a thing. And I think for my 50th, I got bought a birthday card that had a stag on it. So it's almost like the stag chose me, and I feel like I'm more a wizard of the woods than any other realm. And the stag is very synonymous with forests and woods, and it's a very English thing. The white hart, which is a white albino stag, hart spelled Hart, is in itself a very royal, regal thing from England. There's many public houses are known as pubs, bars, called the White Hart in England. At one point, I think even used to play football for a pub called the White Hart. So, and most big towns will have White Hart. One of the establishments, one of the taverns, will be called the White Hart. So it's a very synonymous thing. And I just feel it fits, even though I actually feel my clan totem, which I'll do a completely different video on, is a wolf. So the wolf and the stag are predator prey. They're very connected in the cycle of life. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to be using my Druid Animal Oracle this week. My joint ventured Oracle deck that I'm creating is now at the printers. So that's exciting. It's not going to be long before I'll be using my own deck pretty much every week. Unless spirits tell me otherwise, of course, you know. I'm always under guidance whenever I do these things. And I've got a few different animal decks. Yeah, so let's see what comes. So it's Tuesday, the 21st of May. And the energies have softened a bit after the solar storms. Things are calming down, and we're getting, edging ever closer to the middle of the year already. So yeah, this time next month, and we're going to be at the winter solstice in Australia, and it'll be summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, and midway through the year. So it's going so quick, and time itself is speeding up, which means we're manifesting quicker as well. So it's not a detrimental thing, it's a positive thing. Things are happening more rapidly, so especially for us impatient people, that's a bonus. So let's see, let's begin now, and let's see who the first animal for the week is turning up. Oh, well, the boar, sow, which is a female boar. This is coming up so much, and the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere is kind of like signifying that you're going to start doing the harvest soon. You're at the height of summer, the crops are pretty much getting ready. You'll know if you're going to have a good harvest or not. And this has come out 3 weeks running now. So as we're getting close to the middle of the year, the biggest thing that we've manifested this year is starting to really show itself more and more obvious. And interestingly enough, yesterday I was working on making my brand and my channel more consistent. So this is one of the biggest things I've been working on this year, is to make it more well known, so more obvious, that when you just see a little cover or a logo or whatever, you know that it's related to myself. And even the t-shirts are part of my brand as well, so I lots of t-shirts. That's my thing. And I was thinking about that this morning, that's my brand. Now, the fact that that's what's coming intuitively about the brand, what's your brand? And this is, I feel, it's almost like you reap what you sow. So if your brand is scattered and it's not known, people aren't going to know who you are. There's going to be no consistency. So today's energy is about really getting into the nuts and bolts about who you are. Animals always know exactly who they are. They never change. Even the slightly different variations, thousands or tens of thousands of breeds of dogs, but you always know it's a dog. Same with cats, same with tigers and big cats, and you know what animal they are. They are unequivocally themselves, and bringing that umbrella energy of the animal realm itself, knowing who you are, will help you manifest and see what your life's mission is. Your sole purpose is to be the best version of you. So knowing exactly who you are, and multiple things can be blended as well to create a unique version of you. In my downtime, I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer my whole life, and the universe is efficient. In other words, it never does anything for no purpose. So it's also exploring those kind of things and seeing how they can fit in to your brand. Now, it might just be that that's your downtime and that's what gives you creativity and that's what keeps those creativity juices flowing. But there could be another purpose to that you've never even considered. So today is about, again, with this card, there's always these multiple little, the little babies. So, things in motion, multiple things always growing, and keep exploring them to see if they can grow to an adult stage or if they're just a passing phase. They'll have a relevance to them. Animal totems always have a relevance. So this is, almost in the nose there's this infinity symbol. It's quite distinct, this card. It's almost the nose is a separate thing. It's the snout even. So it's about sniffing out. It's about using clairalience, clairalience, to smell if something's good or bad or not. And you can even do that when you go shopping. So that's Tuesday's animal. So for those that are joining, #stag if you would like a personal reading after the weekly readings. And for those that watch this after the live, hashtag as well, because I do read the comments. And so I'll happily do the odd reading here and there. And then you can join me on the next live, because I know like everybody's global and people in America are probably watching this yesterday. So this is like a time travel channel that it's and not the only one. There's many, many big channels have got people from all time zones. So anyway, moving on. So that was today's energy. To tomorrow, which is Wednesday 22nd, which is 22 as a master number. We have Owl. Now, Owl's never come up before, I don't believe, out of this deck anyway. And we are coming into a full moon. I'm not sure how many days away it is. If you just give me a second, because I feel it's important. The fact that the full moon energy is already starting to come in and affect who we are. I've got a moon app on my phone. Most spiritual people tend to. So let me find it. Bear with me a second. So we're at 96, 99. Full moon is on, according to my app, is this Thursday. So we're a day ahead with this card. So the day before the full moon, so you're 99% waxing, I think, is the moon going up. Waning's when the moon's getting like less luminous. So this is that the moon illuminates our shadows. And the owl has the ability to see through shadow in the dark. And also what's relevant, like owls don't technically have eyeballs, they have cones, which is why they can sort of laser focus and just, yeah, have very great vision at night. And in there, so it's about having a different kind of sight. So it's about using your third eye. That, well, I want to, there's a word coming to me, it's inner sight. So this is about looking within. So tomorrow's about looking at your own shadow, looking at what needs to be looked at to be healed from and moved beyond. Because shadow is normally old parts of ourselves that are creating a reality that isn't beneficial for us. The skeletons in the cupboard almost. So this is about having a good look at the skeletons in your cupboard and having that courage. Not fear is a reaction, courage is a decision. So having the courage of making that conscious choice to go, right, okay, that's not serving me anymore. So, and then the height of the full moon is probably going to really illuminate that shadow when you start looking at it. So tomorrow, Wednesday the 22nd, which is a master day, it's about starting to become another master of a different version of yourself, an old version that's needs updating. So it's a perfect, basically this, to in short, it's the perfect day to do some shadow work. There's a lot of ivy in that picture, and for me personally, ivy is one of my dragon guides, so that sort of links to the dragon realm. There are dragon cards in this, so yeah, just interesting card. And I love the little symbologies in this card, just noticing that you got this little pendant at the bottom there, almost like the scream face from the artist, the scream. I can't remember who that artist was. It's not Monet. I'm not an art fan, so I know Dali, that's about it, and Monet and the big ones. But anyway, so that's Wednesday, face your shadow. Bring it to the surface. So let's see, we've got Thursday, which is actually full moon, interestingly enough. So, you know, facing your shadow, when you bring it to the surface, it's there to be released. And this is the perfect animal to release a layer. I mean, it's adder. This is an English deck. So adder is the only venomous snake you get in England. And you know, they're like hen's teeth. You just rarely see them. Whereas, I mean, I live in Australia these days, and snakes are quite commonplace, especially as soon as you start getting anywhere in the suburbs where you're living next to fields and stuff. They're very, very common, and they're also very, very venomous. So adder itself, you know, the entwined snake, you could almost have like the, you know, the caduceus, which is the staff of Hermes, which is often used as a healing symbol. This entwined snake, so that's the staff with the wings and the two entwined snakes. It's known as the caduceus, or the staff of Hermes. So Thursday is going to be a great day to shed an old layer. So depending on your level of awareness, your level of consciousness, how much you consciously do shadow work, this is a great time to, you might get a bit sniffly, you might feel a bit sick, and that's just your body energetically releasing old energy, ready for new energies to come in, new levels of yourself to come in. And it could be in any area of your life. I mean, as I was speaking, it's my crown chakra is activating. There's a lot of energy coming in, and that's it. When you release the old energy, that it gets replaced by the new. That's just how it happens. So yeah, beautiful card for Thursday. It's about releasing the old. And I'm also sensing, like, if that's part of your diet, eat some eggs, an egg and protein, and be a perfect day for that kind of food. So what do we have Thursday? No, that's Thursday. Sorry, Friday for the end of the working week. Well, the very standardized working week. When you work for yourself, there is no standardized working week. You just work for yourself. Well, there's a massive jump of cards there. Literally one ended up on my foot. So when you are coming out of that phase of shadow and you've released the old layer, you come into a new, this is about jumping into it in full force. So Friday is this salmon energy. And you know that phrase, I'm just getting it very leap like a salmon, leap like a salmon. So it's almost like be very, very joyful, because this is about salmons. They return back home. They always return back to the same spawning where they were spawned. You know, they go out to the ocean, swim around, come back down the rivers, and they always go back to the same spawning place. So this is about returning home. Now, home, I feel, in this context is heart. As you release a layer, you actually just return actually closer to your purest self. You're releasing a layer of ego, releasing a layer of indoctrination. And I'm not talking about conspiracy indoctrination, but just what we learned when we were young. We learned from our parents, relatives, friends, society, TV, all these kinds of things gave us a layer that may not necessarily be for our highest good. It was just what was there at the time that we felt was necessary. And as you release a layer, you see basically you remember a better version of yourself. So jump for joy. You know, this is a day of joy. Friday's a day of joy. So even if your standardized working week is always a Friday, Friday's always a day of joy anyway. So utilize that collective energy and be joyful on what you're releasing, even if you aren't consciously aware of what you are. We're always releasing layers, we're always working on layers, whether we're aware of it or not. And the more consciously aware you become of that, the more focused you can be around that. So salmon's a beautiful card. And it's almost like a crescent moon as well. You know, you got this curve like a crescent moon. Yeah. So that waning phase. So this is a shadow week as it's already looking. So remember, please hashtag stag if you'd like an in-depth reading for the week. And let's see what we've got for Saturday. So, you know, it's even more leap forwards, more leaping. The hair, fast moving energy. You've got this very, you know, bit of almost there you've got your crescent moon, bit of Stonehenge going on. You've got these eggs. It's almost like a rebirth. So when you jump for joy and you're happy for releasing that old energy, this rebirth energy comes in. So these cards are all showing a spiritual death this week. So you might feel a bit off. You might feel a bit lethargic. You might feel a bit, I can't be bothered to do anything. And that's just your energy saying, yeah, rest. You know, going through a spiritual awakening can energetically be tiring, which then becomes a physical thing. We're energetic beings having a human experience. So human beings having an energetic experience. And they both play with each other, in alignment with each other. And one affects the other, and they each affect each other. So if you are feeling a bit off this week, you'll be going through a spiritual death. And it's not surprising with all that massive solar flare energy and that magnetic energy coming in last week and all that new level of light that's coming into our body, because we do transmute light into vitamin D and other things at different energetic levels. It upgrades our DNA and we become more light. So and that means forcing out the old shadow. And so very unsurprising that we have got all of these cards in a row about reap and what you sow, keep going, face your shadow, release the shadow, jump for joy that you've done some work, and then leap into the next phase with, you know, just the hair in itself is just sort of sat there waiting. It's sort of taking stock. So pause. Saturday's a day of pause before you're ready before you leap onto the next phase. So Saturday's, a bit of rest. And it's okay to rest. Rest is a very underestimated, essential part of us for our daily lives. We're forced to thrive and hustle, and few people recommend rest as a part of that flow. And everything in nature rests. Everything. So that's Saturday. And then Sunday, let's see what we've got. Fox energy. So the fox and the hare, that's the predator and prey dynamics again. And I'm just being drawn to this ray of light right onto the bushiness of the fox's tail. It's almost like that's the fox's antenna. So this new level of, you take that rest, and then when you move forward, again, even foxes aren't as well known for this, but they do leap and bound and jump, and when they're getting closer and closer to their prey. So there's still that joy energy, and they're also extremely adaptable. So interestingly enough, the fox and the hare are the only two animals that you find in every environment on every continent. So you get the Arctic hare and the Arctic fox, you get the desert hare and the desert fox, and the urban fox and the urban hare. And hello Tacey. Inderulikticraft. Hello, you're welcome. So a new viewer. So hashtag stag for a personal reading after the weekly readings. Yeah, so you have this dynamic of adaptability in all realms. So this layer that we're releasing is almost like we're starting to recognize that we are a multidimensional being, that we are adaptable in every situation, that we can handle every situation. And as long as we use our intuition and believe in our inner light, we can adapt to any situation. And and trust us that. So no matter, life and the universe never throws anything at us that we can't handle. So whatever it is that you're going through, know that you can handle it. And it has a really powerful purpose for our journey in life and for our energetic upgrades and our life lessons and teachings and all manner of things, and know that you're adaptable to every one of them. The fox is such an amazing card. One of my favorite creatures, the fox. Just beautiful, beautiful. So Sunday. I think that's right. Or that was Sunday. So that was Sunday. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, that was Sunday. And then Monday, which is the last card of the week, which is Hawk. And this is almost, I'm being drawn to this, almost burning away the old. So I feel like burning rituals would be good for Monday. So people of your past, or jobs of your past, relationships of your past, anything that you feel is past, you can just write to it. Bit of A4 bit of paper, and be as expressive as you want. So if it's something that has made you really angry in a period of life, just write it down and go, F this, blah, 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 and write it down with as much passion as you can, and then burn it and say, that is done. That is now done. Burning rituals is a great way to release old energy. You get it out in the paper, it then becomes a real thing, and then you send it back to the universe. You transmute it into old energy, into ash, like the phoenix, and burning away the old. I mean, the forest itself, where the stag lives, it has a great way of replenishing itself, and it's through fire. Forest fires actually turn the dirt and the soil to become very, very activated, very, very fertile. And then the forest regrows and re-energizes, and sunlight gets to places where it never used to get. So it's a very, very brilliant thing. And another thing as well they do, like we learn to sometimes burn fields to replenish the energy in the soil, so that the following harvest, the next year, was a lot more, it was bigger, was more fruitful. So this is also about playing the long game The hawk itself, what you'll see they'll do in nature, they're very, very efficient. They won't always just fly around. They'll actually find somewhere really high to sit on and watch and see if they can see their prey before they then take flight. So I feel for this is kind of future pacing. This new energy that's come in, see where it is taking you, or see, make a plan for next year. Make a plan for where you want to be in 12 months, and then from there on in, take steps towards that. Then focus on what you will consider the very first step. So this is about future pacing. So and it's a great thing to do after the clearance of an old energy and an old energetic layer and an old version of yourself. It's great because you'll have a new vision. So create that new vision. So Monday is a great day for creating a new vision. Start of the work, standardized working week as well. So Monday is a great day for a new vision. So for those that are just joining me, I'll just quickly go through what the cards were for the week. We started off with Sao, which has just been here for the last 3 weeks. It's still about manifesting and your future, and remembering you reap what you sow. To keep your vision going, trust that you're abundant. And then the owl, which is like looking into shadow, working with the full moon energy that shows things that we may not have seen before, new truths. And then Thursday was the snake, which is about releasing old layers. That perfectly follows on from the owl message, releasing old layers, maybe having an egg in your diet on Thursday. Friday is salmon, about jumping for joy, being joyful, taking the leap of faith from the old to the new version of, remembered version of you, releasing that old. And then Saturday is the hare, which is that take stock, have that bit of pause before you move quickly into the next phase of your journey. Quickly followed by the fox, and we was talking about those different environments. The card was jumping itself then, being playful, which is great. Coming out of that winter into summer, and then the falcon, as you asked, Tacey. Yes, that is in the card. It is a falcon. It says hawk, but the blue tinge, peregrine falcons tend to have that blue tinge. So there's your falcon. So those are the cards for the week. I'm going to now put them back in the deck. So I'm going to start doing the personal reading. So that's a really interesting readings for the weekly readings. That it's about shadow work. It's about releasing an old layer. So there is going to be a bit of rest, a bit of lethargy, a bit of you're going to feel a little bit tired. But that's part of a normal cycle of a life, death, rebirth. So it's a death week. Just honor that. Honor that. Plenty more rest than probably what you normally get. Plenty of water. Plenty of healthy food. What you would consider healthy. What your body tells you is healthy. And you'll have a great week. Now, so let's have a look through who did #stag. And there was my beloved first. And then we have Tacey and her friend Carrie and Indaru. Hopefully I've said that right. I'm English, so my pronunciation of anything considered foreign isn't that great. But I appreciate you watching. Please share it with your friends. I do this every week, every Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Brisbane time in Australia. If you're in Germany, you're going to be about 9 hours behind, maybe 8. So all the cards are jumping. All the cards are jumping. So let's start with my beloved Aida. Let's see what her card is for the week. And we have, what a beautiful card that is. Look at this, horse. The card that's never come out before. And there's that. So this is so I'm being drawn to that, which is white horse. And there's a couple of those. There's a few of them around the world. I know there's a couple in England. Really famous one down on the southern coast, around Portland area. And it's a chalk horse. So this is about temporary writing. But temporary writing, it becomes permanent. Because chalk is easily erased. But this particular chalk horse has never been erased. It become a permanent thing that you can see from the ocean and from above. So it's one of those amazing feats that humans created many, many years ago, whether it was Celts or whoever it was, that created this drawing that can only be seen from above. And we couldn't fly at the well, we didn't have airplanes at the time, but so it's about looking from above in what you're writing, seeing how it could be seen as a spiritual aspect, not just the physical realm. So it's almost like what writing and almost seeing what's being said between the lines in an energetic way. So it's because, the light's going to, when people read something, their light is also seeing what's being written. I'm trying to see where horse is relevant to this. This is almost like Pegasus energy with this white horse without the wings, which is still like looking from the higher perspective about what you're writing between the lines. That subtle message that gets to the inner self. So it might be that some automatic writing is going to come in. A new level of writing is going to come in this week. That's what this is about. Communication with the blue, with the inner light, and that chalk that becomes permanent. So in Daru, you're in Austria. So 1 a.m. Thank you for joining. Wow, you are dedicated. Thank you. Well, it's also a great time as well to, intuition is a lot more tuned in because our monkey mind tends to be more out the way. So, yeah, night owl. And the owl did come up. So, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you joining me at 1 a.m. I know what that's like. I'm still a massive soccer fan, football for me. And I was up the other morning at 1 a.m. to watch a game. So, yeah, when you do something you love, time is not irrelevant. Time is irrelevant, really. We're active 24/7, and when we trust intuition will often wake us up at 3 a.m. to get a download. So, anyway, moving on. I'll do Kari first, Tasty. So this one's for Kari. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Again, my pronunciation with names not great. Kari has bull. You've also got this crane here, and cranes and bulls. So what you'll find is that you look in the field where there's cows, you'll have white cranes. Not necessarily white, but you'll have cranes or herons, because they know they're always going to get a feed, and they're synergy together. They're symbiotic. They have a symbiotic relationship. So a bull won't care that it's getting pecked at by the heron because it's preventing ticks and flies and all those annoyances for the bull or the cow that can make it sick. So for Carrie, where can she be symbiotic with someone else that's going to keep her healthy? It might be about finding a new, if she's single, focusing on that as a new relationship to find someone who she's symbiotic with, that balances out. Because we often attract, as healers, we'll often attract a client until we learn that lesson that we want to attract equality. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I water you, you water me. That kind of thing, where it's ebb and flow, but you're always giving to the relationship. It's never unbalanced. And I feel as well there's maybe a bit of a stubbornness from her. She probably likes the bad boys, which is just not beneficial. She's always attracted to the darker energies, where it's about time to move beyond that so she can attract the king or the queen, depending on her preferences. So yeah, I think it's about moving away from the stubbornness that she's only attracting one kind of person. And that also starts with ourselves, with honoring ourselves and honoring the love we have for ourselves. And then we'll attract someone who sees that love too and reflects that love back. So I feel that it's been a bit way away, but you start that journey today. And the bull's almost looking at that heron there, changing perspective, knowing that good guys do come first. Good guys are out there and they can be found. We've just got to start focusing on that's what we want to attract. So interesting enough, about relationships there, Carrie. Now we're Tacey. Next one's for you. Take stag. So I appreciate your patience if you're at the end of the line, especially when it's 1 a.m. And I'm glad I'm reaching Austria. So I'm currently reaching Austria and America. It's all the A's. All the A's in Australia. So Australia, AAA. So that's Archangel Azrael. So Archangel Azrael is basically the angel of death. So his energy comes around when there's mass awakenings going on, and often it does mean that there's a lot of people start to leave the planet because they know their time's done. So, and I help shepherd these souls during my dream times. So when he turns up, it's to remind me that I'm probably going to feel tired in the following morning because I'll be doing a lot of work sending souls off to the light. So we have for you, Tacey, the eagle. What an amazing card, especially for the American in you, because of the American, and in America, the eagle is kind of like the symbol, the universal symbol for your country. And it's patriotic. You've got all these little, not wigwams, but these little huts here of the local area people. Pagan, but eagles, there's a reason that certain animals get chosen for countries. England, it's the lion, and lions, as far as and apart from maybe millions of years ago, lions have never lived in England. The lion and the unicorn, which is a mythical being, supposedly, that energy is still part of the collective on the continent that you live in. So you're always going to have that overarching energy in and around you. And the eagle is also about, for you personally, I feel it's about rising above the storm. So whenever your mind gets the better of you, look to your higher mind, your higher perspective, your higher self, your heart. And that's when you're in your darkest thoughts, that's when you need to be your most compassionate to yourself. And a little phrase I used to use to help me get out of those dark thought times was, that's okay. It's okay to have off days. It's okay to have dark thoughts. That's part of being human. It's whether we act on them or whether we allow those thoughts to really just take control and just run off with themselves. So the eagle doesn't bother with all the other birds. Essentially, it's the king of the bird realm. It doesn't mind itself. It doesn't bother. It's almost like the wolf doesn't care about the feelings of the sheep, the musings of the sheep, should I say. The eagle doesn't bother about the musings of the crow, even the crow or the pigeon or the vulture. It just knows that it's got its own mind and it focuses on what it's got to do. So for you, Tacey, when other parts of your monkey mind are trying to chatter, allow your higher mind to go, look, it's not important. So in other words, just say you said, my country's about to go sideways. Don't worry about what's going on externally. You can create your reality from your internal, and your world will be fine. So this is about basically not worrying about what other people think, not worried about what's going on around you, and creating your own world how you want it to look. And you will create that. We're all powerful in that way. So that's it. And then fine. So now for you, Indaru. Hopefully that's pronounced correctly. And let's see what we've got for this early riser or late stayer, whichever way you choose to look at it. There's actually a couple come out for you, which is great. So you've got dog and duck, or dog and goose, sorry. So you got a couple. Now I'm being drawn to this one first. Now One of my it's interesting enough, I said like I used to be a gamer, and I still am a gamer. And one of my favorite all-time games is Skyrim. Now, there's a mission in that where you come across like a stray dog who looks just like this. His name's Barbarous, and he leads you to a character which is clearly um, based on Loki. And being in Austria, which is very Germanic, all the Norse gods around there and runes. Loki's part of that lore, Lore, and he's the trickster. So this is, I feel there's probably an energy around you at the moment that is not genuine. So I feel there might be a guide around you that's not from the light, that might be worth looking into, maybe reassessing who your guides are, and trusting who you feel shouldn't be part of that team anymore, and lovingly say, time to go. Thanks for the guidance, but now it's time to leave. The faithful friend that may not be as faithful as you think. I mean, dogs in nature never betray their owners. They are always faithful. Just following the breadcrumbs here. You've got this cave in the background. So this is about inner work as well. And sometimes like our parts of ourselves aren't serving us anymore. So it could even be releasing an old part of ourselves so that we can move into a more fruitful life that we desire. And it is this use of this ancient lineage. So that's the dog part of it. You've got just being drawn to the, I don't know if that's I don't even know what flower that is. It's almost about getting out in nature, smelling and smell the roses. That can sometimes be a statement in England. It's like, wake up and smell the roses. It's just about being honest with yourself. And that deep honesty where we know it's going to create some inner work or a bit of turbulence to change things in our life. That's the perfect thing to do. And then the second part of this was the goose. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is coming to mind here. And that's the saying is, it basically means that about equality. So what you give in regards to humor, if you can't, it's being jumped around a bit here, but it's showing that if you're going to give something, you've also got to be able to take it. So if you're a sarcastic person, you can't take sarcasm. There's an unbalance there. So for you, you're very, very good at putting in the work, but then also balance that out with rest. To get to any journey, it takes a forward movement and then a pause and a rest, and then a forward movement, a pause and a rest to take stock and to build your energy back up again. It's almost like that life, death, and rebirth cycle that maybe you don't rest enough. Yeah, exactly there. Equality in giving and receiving, perfect. So I feel with this card, it's about knowing that, you're very good at helping, but how good are you at receiving help? And I feel it's that receiving help that needs some work. The golden goose, the goose that lays the golden egg. So, even the goose that lays the golden egg gives all that gold away, but where do they get that gold from in the first place to create that golden egg? So yeah, thank you for working on receiving. So I would say at least for the next 7 days, work on receiving. So, and sometimes that's just a case of like when someone even makes you a cup of tea or someone gives you something that they just do in the flow of the day, even if it's someone at work hands you some paperwork, oh, thank you, I really appreciate, and just go, I really appreciate that you've handed that to me. I really appreciate that you've made me a cup of tea. And that's really honoring how to receive. These little changes in our day-to-day being create massive changes in time when we make it a consistent thing. The smallest step You know, 1,000-mile journey starts with the first step. So spend more time working on receiving than giving, because you're already an expert at giving. So then work on being an expert at receiving, and your life will become very, very balanced and very, very powerful, because when you ask of the universe, you'll not get in the way of receiving. And I'm also learning that lesson too. So I feel this is also a really powerful message for me. So that's everybody by myself. And I always like to do a reading for myself, because this is how I receive. You know, I've been doing all this giving for the last 45 minutes. So let's see what the animals has come out for me. And interesting enough, I'm talking about the white hart, H-A-R-T, is the stag, is becoming part of my brand now. Is very synonymous with me, the wizard and the stag. And I get the hind, which is this white stag in the forest. So it's such a beautiful gift for me to receive, the white stag, the white hind, the white deer, just showing up. So keep shining your light, keep having that energy behind me. Embrace that gift from the universe that the stag, the hind, the hart show me. They are the leaders of the forest. They are the leaders of the shadow. They are the realm caretakers of, as much as they don't want you to believe it, Mother Earth is still covered quite a lot by forest. There's still a lot of massive forests and trees in a lot of places. You know, where I live on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, you know, I'm very close to the beach, like literally 5-minute walk from the beach, but I'm also only a half an hour drive up into the amazing forests known as the hinterland, which is tropical rainforest as well. So it has all these wonderful environments. And just up the road, I'm also near one of only 2 in the world of an Everglades system, which is another about 40-minute drive. So the only other one is in America, which is in Florida. So I'm surrounded by all these amazing environments, and you don't really notice how much of that there is unless you live there. So having that energy of the stag behind me, which has the antennas, which is also a connection to spirit, is just very empowering for me, and a beautiful recognition and a beautiful remembering, going, the stag is part of my energy always. So maybe my clan totem, my animal totem, my birth totem is wolf and stag. There's the balance of the predator-prey, the life, death, and rebirth. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for the new people that joined. I always appreciate new, and please like and subscribe, and then you'll get notifications when I do these lives. I'm actually about to start another little weekly video. I don't think that's going to be live. That's going to be pre-recorded, but a weekly video called this Mind, Body, Spirit, Health Top Tips. It's just going to be about talking about how to live life spiritually, emotionally, mindfully, physically, as a human and spiritual being, and blend as how best to blend them so you can handle daily energies and daily human life just a lot more easier. Little tips and tricks, and basically just stuff that I've done for the last 20, 30 years that have helped keep me a bit more balanced and my energy a bit less roller coaster and a bit more gentle breeze on the wind in the ocean. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your time, because I know you're all across different time zones. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and I'll see you again next week. And yeah, please like and subscribe to my channel. Please share my channel. It's a solo channel. I'm doing my best to grow it bit by bit. Just takes consistency and keeping that dream and that vision alive. So I'll see you all again next week. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the life, death, and rebirth. Take care.